Hello. In this video, let's explore what lightmass is and what a lightmap is. Let's start with lightmass. Lightmass is a lighting renderer. In other words, it's a baker. For a better understanding, you can think of it as the Corona or Ray Render plugin. Lightmass calculates illumination and bakes it onto the lightmap. Currently, Unreal Engine supports CPU Lightmass and GPU Lightmass, which means it can bake lighting on both the graphics card and the processor. But the best results come from GPU Lightmass on the graphics card. Now let's talk about lightmap. If translated literally, a lightmap is a light map. In other words, it's the unwrap on the second channel. This unwrap is where the calculated lighting is baked. If there's no unwrap on the second channel, baking the object will result in it being completely black or with artifacts. Now let's illustrate this. I have two teapots, one blue and the other red. The blue one has no unwrap on the second channel. The red one has an unwrap on the second channel. Now to check this, I select the red teapot. I go to modifiers. Here I have unwrap UV. I'll delete it now. Create a new one. Go to the second channel. Open UV editor via unwrap button. And we see the unwrap on the second channel, where lighting, shadows and highlights will be baked. On the second one, we don't have such an unwrap. If we go to Unwrap UVW, switch to the second channel, Unwrap button. There is no unwrap here, only on the first channel there is a texture unwrap. Now let's see how light is baked in Unreal Engine. I baked the lighting in Unreal Engine, and as we can see, on the teapot where there was no unwrap, there are strange shadows, light artifacts, because our lighting doesn't know how to bake there. As there is no light map, unwraps on the second channel. On the second teapot, where we had a light map unwrap, the light baked perfectly as needed. You can check the unwraps in Unreal Engine itself. For example, click on the teapot, press the Ctrl+E key combination. Click on the UV tab. Here, I have UV channel. This is the unwrap on the first texture channel. But I don't have UV channel 1. Here, the count starts from 0, so UV channel is the first channel, and UV channel 1 would be the second channel. But it's not here. But if you click on the second teapot and press Ctrl+E in the UV tab, we can see it. UV channel 0 is the texture, the first channel. UV channel 1 is the second lightmap channel, where the lighting is baked. Now I'll show you roughly how the unwraps on the second lightmap channel should look. Here, unlike texture unwraps, the islands should not overlap each other, should not be laid out overlap. This is unacceptable. Otherwise, artifacts will occur when baking lighting. Each shell is separate from the others, and there is a certain distance between them. If we don't maintain the distance, for example, if they are very close to each other, then for example, this right shell here, this shell will be bright, meaning it will receive light, while this one will be in shadow. There might be blending between them, blurring at this seam, and we will have some artifacts. To avoid this, to prevent them from affecting each other, there should be a distance between them so that the lighting is calculated correctly. It's also crucial not to forget about optimizing the lightmap UV unwrapping. You should try to occupy as much free space on the canvas as possible. For example, if our unwrapping takes up about this space on the canvas, and there is still a lot of space left, in Unreal Engine we will have to increase the value of Lightmap Resolution, which is the quality of the lightmap, thereby increasing its size. Our graphics card's memory is not limitless, and it simply won't be able in the end to bake the lighting. And that's why we try to occupy as much space on the canvas as possible, to increase the efficiency of our unwrap. Also, we shouldn't allow islands that are too small, since there will be a minimal number of pixels allocated to them, and they will be poorly processed. And most likely, there will be issues with lighting, baked lighting, for example, some very microscopic particles. Allowing them is, of course, unacceptable. Now I'll tell you a bit about Lightmap Resolution. This parameter increases the resolution of the lightmap in Unreal Engine. For example, if we click on an object, all objects in details have override Lightmap Resolution. If we type res in the search, we'll find this parameter and we need to enable it. Here, we can enter a value to which we want to increase it, that is, the value of the Lightmap quality. The value here can be set from 4 to 4096. You cannot set it higher. If you have set it to 4096, I would recommend splitting the objects into several parts. And on separate parts, you can then have a lower Lightmap resolution, which means the quality, light maps, and less load on the graphics card, more relief graphics card memory, and faster light calculation. And now, if we change this value, we won't see any changes. And to see visually how we change this value, what's happening to us, go into the mode optimization view modes. And here we need to choose Lightmap density mode. The red color indicates that the Lightmap resolution right now, that is, the quality of light maps on these objects, is set up quite well for excellent light baking, for the highest quality lighting baking. Now I will select our teapot and let's say set the minimum value to 4. The minimum value of 4 will have a blue color here. Blue color indicates that there will be lower light quality. Here we see that the grid is very large. And the more we set the value now, for example, I'll set it to 8. The value here is set in multiples of 2. The color will change. For example, I'll set 16 now. The grid becomes denser. I'll set it to 64. Now the teapot is green. It's already not bad, but if you need more detailed quality lighting, then we increase the resolution more. For example, I'll set it to 128 now. In principle, 128 can be enough for this teapot, but now I'm setting the maximum quality for this teapot, 256. This is even more than enough for this teapot. We can try to bake it now. Light with this resolution. 256. Exactly, I set it to 256 for the kettle. I'm switching now to lighting only to see only the light. And before baking, I recommend going to the World Settings section. If it's not there, then we click on Windows. And here, we need to check the World Settings box. A window will appear. Most likely we move it here or wherever is more convenient for us. Here, we need to expand Lightmass settings, or in the search we can type compress and find compress Lightmass. We need to disable it. This is built-in optimization for light maps from Unreal Engine. So the lighting has baked, and we see that we've got this result. A fairly decent result. Yes, there's some noise. Noise is due to not cranking up the quality settings of the baker itself. If we improve the settings, then, of course, this noise will disappear. Now I'll try out of curiosity to set, for example, 16. The minimum value, well, the minimum is 4, but I'll set it to 16, and let's bake again and see what we get. And in the end, we have got this light, because we significantly reduced the resolution of the light map. If we reduce it even more, then these artifacts will of course increase. Also, if we move the object, our baked light will disappear. And we'll be left with a shadow from our object on the floor. If we also move the floor, then the baked light on the floor will be disturbed. That's how baked light works. If I press Ctrl+, undo everything, then the baked light returns. I think I have clearly explained what Lightmap and Lightmass are. If you have anything to add or any questions, write in the comments. And thanks for watching.